Hello, welcome back to Shirts in Time. We're first favourite and fantasy again, joined by Dan. How are we doing, mate?
Very good, mate. Very good. Had a very productive shirts boots spending day today. So yeah, very good, mate. Very good. Things are underway, so I'm happy, mate. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. Excited. 3 weeks tomorrow because we're recording Thursdays, but when this goes live on Saturday, 3 weeks till the match day.
Mate, exciting time. Shirts boots, 6th of June, Haringey Borough FC, Collectors Cup. Going to be epic, mate. 4-team shootout. Quality stuff.
Joined by Shirts v Boots royalty today, Chris Edge.
Hello, mate.
How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Thanks for having me on. You well?
Full of cold, but we're getting there. Middle of May, why wouldn't I be full of cold?
Chris, you deserve a hell of an intro, mate. So I dug out the original Chris Edge efforts from Shirts versus Boots 1, which is our first inauguration in 2021. For those who don't know, Chris is Cutting Edge Shirts and is, in my opinion, the finest, one of many, but for me, our finest shirt printer in existence. And Chris gives up a very, very large chunk of time to print all of the Shirts versus Boots kits every single year with some very glamorous assistance sometimes. But without him, all of the fantastic kits you see on pitch wouldn't happen. They just wouldn't exist. And also makes people's kit printing dreams come true. On top of that, he's an absolute fucking great bloke. He is the animal mother of Shirts versus Boots. For that Full Metal Jacket reference. So thank you, Chris. Thank you for joining us tonight, mate. A pleasure to say, a legend and a very good friend.
That is unbelievably kind. Bit embarrassing, but thank you very much, mate. I don't
Checked in the post.
particularly like being centre of attention like that. But 10 quid in the post for you, mate. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be involved in it. It gets bigger and better every year. The people involved are what make it. I've said before about, this will just sound like a love in between me and you now, but I've said before that you're the catalyst for it. You make it happen, and you do all the buying and the prep and all that sort of stuff. So for me, just to garnish with a little bit of printing at the end is just my small contribution.
Oh, mate, too kind, mate. It's all a team effort, mate. I think everyone's bit makes it that little bit more special.
I would like to say as well that Jake always does fuck all as well. He's just sort of turns up and minces about on the wing.
Yeah, to be honest, it's been he's been good. A little nutmeg session as well. I think you'll do this year, Jake. I think someone needs some legs to seriously need to get slid through. Do you know what I mean? But Chris, obviously, tonight is Shirts Boots is obviously on the 6th of June at Haringey Borough FC, but tonight it's all about first favourite and fantasy. And that's a discussion we've had quite a bit down the pub. But tonight it's purely polyester related. So, mate, without too much further ado, can you bring out your first shirt?
So, my first shirt, and just checking here in the label, it's a large boys, which for anyone who's met me in person knows that ain't fitting me anytime soon. I don't know if they do these in dad bod sizes, but this was my first shirt that I would have pestered my mum to buy for me in 1995. It's in good nick. Got this black bit always tends to go grey after a while, and this bit sort of fades, but it looks pretty good. It's got original Premier League patches on there from back in the day. As I say, it's a large boys. So in 1995, I would have been 8. My mum didn't have a lot of money. I've told this story so many times. So anyone who's ever followed me for more than like a few years will know this. And this may be where the shirt printing comes from. And it could be childhood trauma / childhood PTSD. And back in 1995, kids didn't have anxiety. They were just good kids or knobheads. So I was probably a good kid at that time, and I got my shirt printed with Paul Ince on the back. So I asked my mum 14 Kanchelskis. So £1 a letter and £4 a number for 14 Kanchelskis. She said absolutely no chance, and this turned up with Paul Ince. So she'd gone for the cheapest one she could have got. I still hold that against her to this day. And I remember being disappointed that I didn't get the shirt that I wanted, but also being ecstatic that I had that. And I had a Manchester United shirt, my first one. So that was my first ever shirt. That sort of memory. I think I had shorts and socks with it as well. I don't think she would have bought them in one go, but I remember maybe picking up the shorts and socks afterwards. And then if you can see behind me, as an adult, if I'm allowed to do it twice, I sorted myself out with a 14 Kanchelskis in a slightly bigger size, a large, which is a large jumper in the 90s is a bit like an XL nowadays for anyone who doesn't know. So yeah, you could probably find some sort of childhood trauma in these two. And then he left. So that
in the Milan kicked out the door.
Yeah, all the players that I wanted that summer. It was obviously when the class of '92 lads came through. So Ince went, Mark Hughes went, Kanchelskis went. So around that time, all the names changed on the shirts. So I ended up having Ince because it was cheap, and then he fucking left. Am I allowed to swear?
And then he joined Liverpool. So
yeah, there's still a lot of United fans who hate him for that.
I bet. I bet to go back and do that. Of all the clubs he could have gone back to UK for. Yeah. A great shirt. I think that's why I know United had a good couple of like sort of home shirts during the 90s with the lace collar and the sort of the zip treble winner and the sort of the Cantona return, sort of this sort of diamond sort of pattern down and all that sort of stuff, checkerboard thing. But for me, that home kit that's if you said 90s Man United, that's the exact kit I think of.
You probably can't see, but for that, I mean, everyone's seen this shirt before. But you've also got the stadium imprint as well on the replica and the fan versions. It was slightly different from the player issue. I think the player issue had the Umbro and Sharp printed, and it didn't have the stadium in the background on it. But obviously, this was 1995. We didn't have an authentic and a fan version like we've got now.
No, nowhere near it. Maybe a bit of stitched bits and stuff, but that's about it.
Yeah. And for those who remember the 90s, like to be fair, having an original shirt with an original print on was quite something, because the amount of mums out there who were ironing on random letters on the back of T-shirts and stuff for kids, that was a thing in the 90s for anyone who was like born in 2003 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, and you get the kits down the old pound shop or whatever it was, like the local sort of bric-a-brac shop, and it'd have like the kits in the boxes and you have to sew the badge on.
Yeah.
I remember that in like Barcelona kits in the local like tat shop. Yeah, fucking hell. Even then I knew it was Poland.
It was always a thing if you were lucky enough to go on holiday, wasn't it? You always had to get a shirt. I remember getting a sort of hooky Benfica shirt. We were in, where did we go? I can't remember where it was. It might have been Madeira. I can't remember where it was. Yeah, I got a hooky João Pinto Benfica shirt as well, which was good. But yeah, that's my first shirt, boys. That's my first one. There's always got the story attached to it that I still take the piss out of my mum to this day. And then now and again, whenever somebody says to me, they ask for a print, and if they say how much is it per letter, or they say I've changed the name and it's like they've changed from like 5 to 7 letters or something, I say, let me know if it changes the cost. And I always sort of think, okay, that's someone who remembers £1 a letter days.
What is now onto your second shirt? You started off with 1995. What is your favourite shirt that you own?
It's cliche as a United fan, and I'm aware there'll be people watching this who are just sick to death of hearing United stuff. And most of these shirts, there's not really a story I could tell you about them that people haven't already heard. But this was one that I didn't have back in the day. Didn't get my hands on. So this is an adult large, so this does fit me just about. So I didn't have one of these as a kid, but again, you see loads of replicas and fakes and stuff of these kicking around. But yeah, I've got an original of these, slightly faded sponsor, and the stitching's a little bit tired in places, but collar up, 7 Cantona on the back. Premier League patches. They're a little bit tired as well on there, which is nice. So they're not completely fresh. But yeah, so that's probably my favourite shirt. Obviously, as a United fan, Cantona is king. He was an icon. This is an iconic shirt. When you look back, people always think of the kung fu kick against at Selhurst Park against Palace, but he got sent off at Swindon as well wearing it, and there was plenty of other stuff that he did in this kit as well. And you look back at the highlights from back in the day, so it wasn't just that moment. But yeah, for me, this is probably my favourite shirt. When Jake mentioned the second part, your favourite shirt, I sort of thought, well, can I come up with something a little bit original and not be as sort of as samey as everybody else, if you like, as a United fan. But for me, that's my favourite. And one of the things that stands out for me as it being an iconic shirt is this slips into quite a lot of collectors' collections as well, in terms, even if they're not United fans or they're not really interested in any United shirts, quite often you'll see this in someone's collection. You got it in yours, Dan, have you?
Of course not.
Printed.
Mate, you know what's funny is I had that shirt as a kid as well from a car boot sale about 1996. Yeah. I absolutely couldn't stand United, but that shirt was just ridiculous. I think I actually had it in small. I had it in like a semi-wearable size. I couldn't stand Man United, but that shirt was so good. Even then, I knew how good it was.
Yeah,
brilliant.
I'll tell you what, I tried to get a while back, but they don't do in Fat Bastard sizes. Is the shorts that go with it, because they got their little trim. Or for those that can see it, they're watching the video. You can little trim that's around the sleeve here. The bottom of the shorts have got that on. Gareth Simpson's probably got a pair of them. He's a different size to me, but he's probably. It wouldn't surprise me if he's got some of them. But it's not becoming to talk about money. But you guys will know that like collections and collecting shirts has obviously smashed through the ceiling in the last few years of the prices that people pay for shirts and stuff. But I got that from Classic Football Shirts, and I think it was around start of lockdown time, and I'm fairly certain it was about 80 or 90 quid. And that shows you now, if you jumped on their website and found that exact shirt in this, like I said, it's in good condition, original print on it. It's a size large, which is a sought after shirt size as well, isn't it? Because you can find a small or something on there, or large boys, but it's an adult size that fits a lot of people. It's a medium wearer can have it baggy, and an XL can just squeeze into a large and from an Umbro 90. So for that sort of, I don't know what they'd be. I guess they'd be upwards of 200 quid, would they? Jake, you might know.
400.
I'd say 250 on Classic Football shirts. Yeah. Definitely more like that. Yeah,
I think the OG print, mate, 350, 400 £400.
I don't keep a tally on my collection or anything like that. We don't do it for the money, do we? And I don't have a spreadsheet or anything of what I've bought like some people. But I think it was about 80 or 90 quid. But like I said, it just shows how the market's gone mad in the last 5 years, doesn't it? Really. I mean, obviously, he was a hero of mine. Still is now. Like, at least he hasn't turned out like Letizia. He's a little bit odd and he's a bit strange, but he hasn't done it. He's not Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, is he? So he's as long as that doesn't come out, I'd be fucking devastated if that happened. It wouldn't be worth 90 quid then, would it?
I think with Cantona though, we already knew he was a bit of he was just out there in his own planet then. Yeah. Whereas Letizia all of a sudden just started having a row with like ChatGPT.
Yeah. Arguing with
fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Some people just shouldn't be allowed the internet. And for a bloke from the Channel Islands who also lived in an SO postcode, he definitely shouldn't be allowed the internet. So, yeah.
Quite right.
Mate, great choice of favourite here. I sort of fully expected that to happen. And that sort of brings on to your last one, mate, your fantasy. So, Chris, let me see your fantasy. Yeah. How's that?
Yeah.
Good?
So, so Jake pushed me all afternoon for what my fantasy was, and we had a little bit of back and forth on this. And
really, back and forth with Jake, was it?
That's his fantasy.
It got to a point where the tone of his message got to, surely you can think of a fucking shirt that you want, and I was like, yeah, you've got a point. I should probably just fucking pick something. I mean, there's notable mentions, right? Like what you've got on, Dan, is that Germany shirt, awesome. There's like the Holland 88, and there's loads of like, I risk using that word again, of cliche shirts. But I had a think, and I tried to come up with it. So this is, don't hang up on me, YouTube. This is a replica of the Denmark 86 shirt. But I bought this right at the start of when I started collecting shirts, and I don't think I'd really decided whether I was an original, fake collector, whatever I was at that point. I didn't have many shirts. I just loved this shirt, and obviously we're on a audio feature for some people here, but it's got the two-tone sort of paneling, the darker red, the lighter red. It's Hummel, which is the phone nearly went there, which is obviously a fucking awesome brand. It's got a flock pressed crest on the flock pressed Hummel. Just the difference in the sleeves, and then on the back, it's hard to tell on here, and maybe I can stick a picture on socials or something later on or email it to you. But the numbers are fucking huge on the back.
Yeah, they look ginormous.
Where's my fucking ruler? Hang on.
Find something else to measure it up against, Chris.
Yeah,
Hold it now first.
I reckon it's about 4 of them.
I was going to say 6. Thanks, mate. Let's have a look. In the bread bin. 30 centimeters from the top to bottom on that 11.
That's a big boy.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Won't fit that in your panini, will you?
Yeah. And for those wondering, the girth 7.7. It's the Claude Makaleli shirt printed.
And there's 2 of them as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's a lucky girl.
God, you'd be brave to handle that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So
I don't know about Dutch courage, a bit of Danish courage on that one.
Yeah. So the numbers are good. The numbers are massive. It's also quite a wonky print as well. If you can see that, like the number 11 sort of runs that way, opposed to running that way with the ruler, and that's how it was printed. So I managed to get hold of an original number in terms of size and flock, and it's a double layer thing. So you got the inside, the navy blue, and then the white trim. And I managed to get hold of that from an original guy. My phone's falling over again. Who I won't mention his name back in the day because he's a penis now. Yeah, it's a replica shirt with the original print on it. It's an XL, so it probably does fit me. So that's going to be my fantasy shirt, because although I've got one, it's obviously heart of hearts and not a real one. But yeah, again, I'll defer to Dan. You might know, but what do you reckon, Jake, on this in terms of original for a price of that? They're like the Holland 81, don't they? They go for fortune.
Wow.
Danish Dynamite. If it's I think you can get them for like 300 to 400, depending. I've seen, but if you wanted one that's like a match worn, and that's Laudrup's 11, Danish Dynamite, one of the great football teams of all time. You talk at least for a match worn, I'd say like 3 to 4 grand, personally.
Yeah.
Is it like the Holland 88 where there's loads of different Jasper versions or not, or is it just maybe 1 or 2 versions of that?
There is Jasper versions of it.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
You two perverts want me to leave? I don't know what that means.
So there's a made in Japan version.
Oh right, okay.
But you can get like the European market version ones, Chris.
Yeah.
Well, there's the Asian market ones as well.
I'm going to go for that one as my fantasy shirt. Hopefully, it would be one that other people wouldn't have raised with their fantasies.
Chris, you're not alone. A lot of people have that in their fantasy bracket. So I was
going to say, as a notable mention, is the away shirt of that, which is obviously exactly the same design but white. And it's just ridiculous. They're just amazing, aren't they? And anyone who's got both of those in their collection, as you say, Dan, if they're both match worn, mega collection, mega money, isn't it?
Oh, mate, I think who's geezer who lives out in Thailand with fucking everything. I'm sure he's got one of each match worn.
Oh, really?
I can't remember the geezer's name.
It's that period though. We're talking about the market and being saturated with re-releases and stuff. And obviously, this is a replica from, as I said, I got it when I started collecting, so it'd be like sort of 6 years ago. But this is where we're at now. Is that shirts that were the original shirts from the 80s and the up to the mid 90s? There wasn't as many of them made, was there? Especially in the 80s. Like you're talking players, and then quite a lot. There wasn't even a real market for replica shirts until a certain time, was there? So you don't. Whereas like what gets released now, thousands and thousands of them. 30 years from now, They won't really
hundreds of thousands. Some clubs will get into the millions. You know, they'll make millions of numbers.
The players get through 2 or 3 a game, don't they?
Well, they get issued. Most teams get issued 4 per player.
Yeah.
2 for each half.
And that's it. And they're giving them away and they're raffling them and all sorts of stuff, aren't they? Yeah.
Plus, you've got like companies like Match-Worn Shirt, people who actually come in on Memento, and they pre-organise to take the shirts off the club and sell them, and fucking mental.
Yeah. So I don't know much about that kind of market, how that sort of works, but
minefield, absolute minefield. Especially now with, like Dan says, there's a shirt for the first half and second half. So you're getting a shirt. Oh, the player scored in this shirt. Oh, did he? Because he scored the first half. Did he wear that in the second half or not?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we won't be getting issued with 4 shirts for Shirts versus Boots 6, which is happening in a few weeks' time on the 6th of June at Haringey Borough, if anyone's interested.
That's it. That's the plug we wanted. Yeah. Sponsored by Showboat, Samby's Consulting, and Retro Football Fair. All in aid of Haringey Borough FC Community Trust.
For anyone who hasn't seen me play, there won't be an awful lot of Showboat from me. It's more Tugboat, to be honest, and that's not a reference to the
very Route 1, Chris, and I can't wait to see it.
Route 1 direct, shit and unfit.
Up and at 'em. That's what we want.
Get into them, fuck them.
Get it up there. Get them going back towards their own goal. We will have it as well. On top of the other stuff, we've got the stall for the raffle. Haringey Borough FC can have their supporters group running their own stall, so they'll have like old Haringey Borough, like shirts and training gear and currencies and stuff to buy. And we'll also be doing, which Eric organised last year, we did all the shirts from Euro 2000. Now, I don't know if we'll be able to get all the shirts from USA 94 because, one, it's really fucking hard to find them all. It's actually easier to find the Euro 2000 stuff because more volumes made. It's other than the Slovakia one. But the USA 94, like the Iran one.
Escaped you?
Fuck it. Hate it so much.
Slovakia.
Shit shirt and it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist. It was made just for the players.
Going back to the Haringey Borough thing, did you say their merch stall's going to have their current shirt? Because I think there'd be a lot of people who'd buy that, wouldn't there? Like collectors that will just have that in their collection. If they could.
Bear in mind, this year they won the cup and the league.
In what? The fucking dog and duck, fucking Division 5 Sunday League.
And the rest. So one of the reasons why, but if anyone's this far in and listening still, well done to you. I reckon it's Harry Powell.
We've got more Prince Andrew stuff at the end.
Here we go. Right, it's the Prince Andrew hour. No, if you listen this far in, the reason we're going for Haringey Borough, the reason they're stuck, they are in like step 7, I think now. The reason they're there is because they had a huge market that would take place, I think once a week or once a month, and that would bring them in like a load of revenue. And that basically is a big community, market, loads of people. It's a very poor area, and like a lot of people go in, and like that's where they get their bargains. That's where they get a bit, be cheaper than the supermarket. They get their knockdown like fruit and all that stuff. Anyway, the council took away the license for them to host a market, and the club had all of a sudden the revenue stream for the club, like they lost about 2/3 of their revenue, which was this market, and that paid like wages.
Is there an authority left who aren't a bunch of cunts?
Like, I'll tell you what, any authority in any position, especially in London, it's all bollocks, mate. It's all smoke and mirrors. You can put anyone you want of any party in charge of any of the authorities in London, and they just want to sell the land off to get flats built on it. They don't give a shit about if it's a big community. And the thing is, the whole area is like that football club is really big in the area. You don't think, with like Tottenham next door, but actually in terms of playing football, teaching football and engaging people in sport and community, they do loads. You go there any time of day and there'll be something going on. There'll be like a kids thing, there'll be age groups, there'll be like women's, there'll be the first in reserves. They're all so friendly. Everyone will come and say hello. There's no like standoffish. Everyone is really friendly. Anyway, the reason we're doing it and the reason they are in step 7 and they only just got promoted this year is because they had like back-to-back relegations, because their entire wage structure collapsed, everything, because of how the council are trying to force them off of the current ground they're on to go into a leisure centre where they've got a pitch with a running track. And the work, like the guy who's the chairman, Abby, he's like that guy. He's just given up his time for it, you know. And to make it, you know, he suffers enough. He's a Spurs fan, and to go through what he goes through. I mean, he's played more money than I'll ever earn into that football team to try and get up the ground, the facilities, everything. And we saw like pictures of what it was like, fucking holes in the roof, blooded corners, all this stuff. And he's done all this stuff to get it up to scratch. And yeah, they're as soon as you go around there, you realise that they're a great bunch of people. But yeah, so that's why we're doing it, because they're just a really great club that is having a really hard time of it, and that have such a big positive impact on their community. Now, right, boys, great choices, Chris, for the shirts, mate. United 95 home, Cantona Ninja, Kung Fu Cantona away, all third, and the Denmark 86 match worn louder for your fantasy, mate. Tremendous. Thank you so much for coming on, mate. You are an incredibly busy man. And I know your time is very precious, and I muchly appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, mate. I'll email the invoice over now to you.
Cheers.
Nice.
Chris, where can we find you? Where can you be found for your shirt printing prowess?
I'll mainly find me lurking on Instagram at Cutting Edge Shirts too. I'll do a little bit of TikTok for the kids out there, but I'm not too, as a man hurtling towards 40, I'm not too brilliant at it. But there's bits on there, and you can still find me on X. I'm not promoting any CBD gummies or porn on there, but you can find me on there as well. But that's about it for me, really, in terms of the socials.
Brilliant, mate. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you, Jake, for putting this together.
Thanks for having me.
See you in a few weeks, boys.